Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome this evening's guest moderator, Jordan Zacharin from BuzzFeed.com, and tonight's guests, Michael Cera and Sebastian Silva.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. All right, well, thanks everyone for coming here right after work, I imagine. I'm not sure.
I have a question to start with. What
Yeah.
kind of water is this?
Is it water?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know then.
Unlabeled.
Arrowhead, do you think?
Drinkable water.
I think it could be Arrowhead.
It's futuristic. Crystal Springs. All right, good, I like it. So yeah, we just saw the trailer for the movie. It's a lot of fun. I've seen it a couple times now, and you guys are actually making another movie, or trying to make one. And so how did this happen?
We're trying to make another movie? What kind of water is that? For real. It's moving by itself.
How did this happen?
Yeah, you guys were making Magic.
Yeah, we were trying to make another movie called Magic, and which we did end up making after we made this. But yeah, for the time being, we were having trouble financing it, and it really got to the point where it looked like we might not ever be able to make that movie. So I left Chile, where I'd been studying Spanish for 3 months, and then Sebastian called me and said, "I've got this other story, Crystal Fairy, and I've got the money for it, and Gabby Hoffman's going to come do it, and we can go make it in 2 weeks, and like there's nothing stopping us." And so yeah, it was just that easy, really.
Now, you guys went out for a while, a couple weeks to do this. Was it difficult with not a lot of money and kind of in the desert?
No, actually, not a lot of money makes things easier. It is true, when you have a lot of money for a movie, there's a lot of people involved. And the more people involved in a movie, the more you need to ask for permission for things, and just things get tricky and just slow and thick and dense. But when you have little money and small crew and complete freedom, it's just really fun. And that's what this movie felt like a little vacation with the family in the desert.
Now, this was kind of based on a true story that happened to you, Sebastian. So could you tell us about your time taking drugs in the desert?
Sure, I'll share that. So I was, it was 12 years ago, me and my best buddy were gonna go take mescaline, which is a compound that it's found in different cactuses. The one in Chile is called San Pedro, and the most common one is called peyote in Mexico. So we'd planned this for a long time. I went to the Wailers concert the night before, and I was there hanging out, just being silly, smoking weed with my friends, and then this woman showed up, Crystal Fairy. She was a real woman with hairy armpits that went by the name of Crystal Fairy, and I invited her to tag along, and she decided to come with us, and that's how it all started. It's really based on a true story.
Now, was she as crazy as Gabby Hoffman is in the movie?
Yes. Yeah, she was crazier. She was just coming from somewhere else where she tried to walk on fire, but it didn't work, so she burned her feet entirely. And and then she had previously, like the previous year, she's been in Africa, and she got a tattoo made with a knife. A knife. Someone carved a tattoo on her arm. And yeah, she was like full of those experiences, like all scars all over her body.
Are you sure she wasn't just stabbed? It was a tattoo?
I don't know what she was. She said she was a crystal fairy.
Did you ever find out her real name?
No, she told us her real name, but I forgot. So I came up with Isabel. It was something among those sounds, like Isabel, Gagabel. What you came up with some other names?
Yeah, I mean, I could take a few guesses. Yeah.
Yeah, okay,
Three syllable names. Yeah.
Okay.
Gagabel, Annalyn, Annabelle,
Annalyn,
and Isablyn.
And you never got back in touch with her again?
You should Google some of those names.
Yeah, I will.
See what comes out.
See what comes out. No, sadly, I really forgot her real name, and then I tried to Google her, and just like fairies made out of crystal would pop out, and then my movie started popping out. But not her, never her. And then we showed the movie in San Francisco, where she is from, and we put a shout out, "We're looking for you, fly to us whenever you find out about the movie." We're waiting for her to reach out.
Well, if you're listening, Crystal Fairy, these are the guys. So, you were in Chile for 3 months. How's your Spanish?
It's pretty good.
Can you say that in Spanish?
Sí, no es tan mal. Ahora.
How would you rate it?
pero
No, es muy bueno. Why don't you describe the store in Spanish? Could you
Describe what?
The store. Something.
este lugar, sí, está como un poco raro que hay gente ahí que están como comprando cosas y no importa a ellos que están aquí hablando de nuestra película rara, pero no importa,
Yeah, yeah.
lo estoy disfrutando.
pretty good.
You know, now in the movie, you're kind of playing Sebastian, his character, but you're not the nicest dude in it.
Yeah.
You got a little bit of an attitude. So, whose idea was that to kind of make him a jerk?
Well, it kind of came out of the story. I mean, it really is kind of the crux of the story. It's where the drama comes from, I guess, is basically my being a piece of shit because I invite this woman along on our trip very enthusiastically. You know, I really beg her to come, and then she takes me up on it, and I resent her for showing up. So that's not a good person. You know, that's not fair. And so just the actions in the script kind of made it clear that he had to be a gross guy.
Right. But Sebastian's not a gross guy.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Yeah, he's turning the volume down on it right now because we're on stage, but you should see him at home.
now in the movie there's a scene where you meet some women on the street. Now, how did that was that part of the story as well?
There is a scene, guys, when Crystal Ferry, because the real story, I invited Crystal Ferry because I was just high. And then my friend is like, dude, I'm not traveling with someone that's going by Crystal Ferry anywhere. And so I did not call her. We just took off without her. And then she was waiting in that town. She was there. And she had just been mugged by this big group of gypsies in a square. And that happened for real. So we did that scene for real. And I went... Previously, a week before, I went to this little town and I talked to the gypsies leader and asked her if her and her clan would be willing to be in this movie. And they decided to do it for a certain amount of money. And then when we stopped shooting, they wanted more money. And I'm like, no, that's all we got. And they're like, how are we going to divide it? We're like 30. And it's like, I'm like, just buy a trampoline or an iMac. Buy an iMac computer. Like, buy something expensive that you can all share. And then they started chasing after me. They wanted to harm me physically, and then I had to hide in a van.
Wow. You remember this all very well for someone who was high.
What is that?
You remember this very well for someone who was high.
No, I was not high. I was working.
Oh,
I was high like a long time ago.
All right, well.
Yeah. No, I sobered up.
That's congratulations.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Why don't
Feels great.
Can we get another smaller applause?
Thanks, my name is Sebastian. I'm sober now.
You've been a vegan for 2 days?
Yeah, I just started. Feels so weird. You know that vegans don't comb their hair and they don't freeze water either. That's what I've heard.
Those are the challenges, really, in the beginning.
Yeah, but I don't think they wear hats either. I don't know why.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
All right, good. Why don't we go to the first clip of the actual
Thank
movie?
you.
Aww.
I know she's playing a character, but Gabby Hoffman seems like a pretty free spirit from all that I've read and heard. What was it? How much of that was her idea, and in general, how much of the character her versus your ideas?
She had groomed hair on her armpits herself. We did not ask her to do that. And she has no issues with nudity whatsoever. There is a scene where she gets naked in front of all of the boys, and it was great. It's not really a sexy scene at all. It's just like, what is she doing? Those, like, Gabby came with those qualities. It was so great to work with her. I had met her before. We did this HBO thing together called The Boring Life of Jacqueline. It's a web series, and working with her was such a treat. She's like everything a director could hope for, like a very courageous, brave actress. She's a little bit of a fairy, but more of an anarchist fairy.
That sounds frightening. Now, you guys brought in not only Gabby Hoffman, but your brothers are in this movie as well. What made you want to cast them?
I mean, I had worked with one of my youngest brothers previously, and I cast him for this movie, and he was so bad in the audition. And I'm like, yeah, this is not going to work. So I tried with the oldest of those three, and he was better. And then the other one was so sad, and I'm like, okay, yeah, you too. And then there was a third one, and I'm like, okay, you too. And then, yeah, it just happened to use the three of them as a one entity. So, like, the movie is really like the characters are like Crystal Fairy, Jamie, and the Silva brothers, basically. They're like represent one sort of an entity, yeah.
Do they now have ambitions to act as well?
One of them does. He's the one that's been in most of my, and three of my movies. He's in Magic Magic, this movie that's coming out on August 6th. He's a really good, talented kid, very charismatic, and a good musician. He lives a block from me in Brooklyn. Yeah, he's here trying to be an actor, I guess. Yeah.
You know, Michael, you said you were here a couple of years ago, and you had an issue about Harry Potter.
I don't think I had an issue about Harry Potter. I just basically so it's going to happen again now. You're
I don't mean
setting me up to. No, what happened was I was here 3 years ago, doing one of these talks, and I can't remember what I said, but I made some joke about Harry Potter. You know, it just came up. It was just a joke, and I lost the audience in 1 second. So that's why I'm hesitant to even talk about it now because
now it's time to ask for forgiveness.
yeah. Well, I don't think it was this audience, but
Okay.
just ask. Do you guys mind representing audiences in general? Just forgive me on behalf of audiences.
Do it.
he
Please
loves
forgive
Harry
me?
Potter, to be clear. He won't stop talking about it backstage.
Yeah. Well. Yeah.
Well, I guess that's a collective yes.
Well,
Everyone
when you say I won't stop talking about it, I was begging you not to bring up the Harry Potter thing.
Oh, it's just a misunderstanding. Now, you guys tried to make the drug is from the cactus, right? This was an attempt you guys made, and how did that go?
Yes.
Yeah, we did actually do that. And it's on camera, basically, right? Like
Yeah.
me straining it in a stocking, and then, yeah, we cooked the stuff, and, well, you did that, right?
Yeah, I mean, if like I'm sure that some hippie would make like a little clip video for YouTube where they show you all of these steps to cook the San Pedro and extract the mescaline from it. We make sure that all the footage is there. I cooked it, and the line producer cooked another batch, and it didn't really work for these guys. They're drinking it. You see them drinking it, the San Pedro on the movie. And I think there was a lot of build-up for it, and it's a weird way to enter a trip, like being filmed by people, you know, like it's just strange. So there's different theories why it didn't work. Maybe I sucked at cooking that thing, and it just didn't have any effect. But then Gabby really tripped out because that was another day of shooting.
And she had a double dose.
She had a double dose. She was very impatient. She's like, hey, this shit's not kicking in. Give me more. I'm like, just wait. And then she drank another dose, and then next thing I knew, she was rolling around like these spiky shells naked. I'm like, whoa, Gabby, we need you. But yeah, it was a great experience. I mean, it's like, it's not a crazy drug that makes you see things that are not there, you know, like that's really a myth. She was pretty much in control, just more sensitive about things, colors and textures, and yeah.
So, since you didn't get high, what is the key to pretending you're high? Make it convincing.
Sorry?
Since you didn't get high, what is the key to pretending, make it convincing?
Well, Sebastian was really helpful. You know, Sebastian had this experience before.
Whenever you want to
and,
pretend
yeah.
you're high,
Yeah.
I'll give you my card.
Yeah, you know, it was helpful having him there, and yeah, he would tell us if something we were doing was phony or something, or didn't make sense. But it was pretty simple. The scenes we're trying to do. I mean, we're not like kind of like tripping out of our minds. We're just going around and observing stuff, and just feeling really in tune with the world. So yeah.
I imagine most of you saw This Is the End, the movie in which Michael makes a great cameo. And this is the second movie, coincidentally, entirely, that you play someone who is not so nice and loves drugs.
Right.
Is this like a pattern for any reason?
Well, I guess it's a pattern if, 2 movies constitutes a pattern. Yeah, but I haven't done any more of those.
What interests you about playing someone, something like that?
Well, I mean, it was really fun to do both of those, and it was kind of like no-brainers, both situations, for me to, say yes, because well, with This Is the End, it was my friends asking me to, and they had written me into the script like that. And it was just, 2 days to go and work with friends. And on this movie, too, I mean, it was really obvious that I would say yes. I mean, I wanted to work with Sebastian, and that's what I was in Chile for, and we were, hoping to collaborate on something, and then this was an opportunity to, and it seemed like a great story, and it was just really obvious,
Now, did you guys go camping when you were out on the beach?
Well, we were sleeping in cabins. We had like 14 people working on the movie, all in total, and we were sleeping in 2 cabins, just like sleeping all on top of each other, and really familial. All pretenses go away like the first week when you're sleeping with each other and like sharing socks. Like Sebastian's brothers were sharing my socks, which I never thought I would do.
Stealing your socks.
Yeah, they were
basically.
stealing. Yeah, no, I was really keeping track of like. I never thought I'd have to keep tabs on who has my socks. It's a real
It was
invasion.
very primal. Like we didn't have any hot water, and the food was like bread and butter. We had other stuff. We had sugary cereal that we grow so sick of it, and it stunk. That the cabin was so disgusting, and it didn't have electricity. We couldn't charge our phones. Oh, but there was no reception either, so we didn't need them. It was nothing like this store.
Did you film in the cabin at all? Could be a nice outtake.
Actually, we didn't. We really have no footage of those cabins, or maybe for the making of there's going to be some, but yeah, it's just in this really sort of isolated, beautiful national park in the Atacama Desert, which is the driest desert in the world for anybody who wants to go there. It's by the ocean, and we were renting these 2 cabins that it's only for people in the national park. So we were there by ourselves, with no supplies.
Because we're in New York, this is interesting to make a note of. At one point, Mr. Met makes a small appearance in it. I'm not going to tell you guys. Well, it's on a T-shirt, and I noticed it as a Mets fan. And apparently, Sebastian, you said that it was very near to you.
That's a shirt that I loved, and I lost it. Yeah, my friend gave it to his younger brother without permission, and then it just disappeared. Yeah, but I'm not a Mets fan. I'm a Yankees fan. No, I'm Yankees. I don't
Harry
really
Potter. No, sorry.
It's getting awkward up here. On that note, why don't we go to the second clip? Are you afraid of sharks?
These are weird. These are really strange options of little teasers for the movie. I have to say, it's actually a funny movie, and it's really uplifting. But they seem so serious. These clips, right?
Well, out of context, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
I laughed.
No. They're likable, but yeah.
Are you
I feel sad when I see that.
Are you afraid of sharks in real life?
I mean, I don't want to hang out with a shark.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fair.
I wouldn't put it at the top of my list of fears.
All right. Well, there's, I asked that because this movie wasn't fully scripted out. You guys worked on an outline, right? So how much of the dialogue was you thought of, or kind of came on the spot? How much of each?
Yeah, well, the whole thing was outlined really thoroughly, and all the conversations basically were outlined, all the dynamics of a scene and like every beat of a scene. And then we just got there and, found the words to get the ideas across in the moment. Like no dialogue was written. And like for that scene, for instance, like I think, it was probably written where everyone genuinely expresses a fear, but none of that stuff was written. All the guys just really in the moment say real fears of theirs, and they say amazing stuff. They each have great little moments. And then the shark thing, I think, was probably written, right? That he just kind of...
The shark thing was probably like... Dialogues were not necessarily written, but before doing it, it's like, okay, now everybody's going to share their fears. You guys tell your real fears. I told my brothers. And then it's like, Michael, did you just say something like make fun of it? Make fun of it. What would you be? And he's like, sharks. Yeah, that's great. So that's how it, like, a lot of things went, like that's how it worked. We would talk about it a little before, and then, he would pull his magic.
I mean, that's pretty gutsy. You only have so much time. You're in a cabin. You only have so much money to make a movie, and you're kind of rolling the dice a little bit.
Yeah, but how wrong can it go? I mean, if you tell someone that okay, I'm gonna be filming you. You go into the deli. You want bananas, but the bananas are too ripe. You don't like them, and you complain about it. And then you tell them to do that, and how could he be lost? Whoever you
That's
tell
not
them.
that's not a scene in the movie, by the way.
No, but that's an example of like how improvisation works. When you have like a very defined direction for someone, how could it go wrong? Like if you tell someone to ask for bananas, what is he gonna do? Like do a backflip or something? You just have to go and ask for the bananas, you know? What is he doing?
At that point, that person's sabotaging your film.
Yeah, exactly.
He goes in, does a backflip.
Yeah.
Were there any lines of dialogue that you were especially proud of? That came off the top of your head?
I can't really remember. I was really high for the whole time. No, I remember one scene where there's a line that I like where we're all in a hostel and Crystal Fairy is volunteering to sleep on the floor because she's like, she was not supposed to be on the trip with us, and there's only enough beds for 4 people. And one of the brothers offers her the bed and says she shouldn't sleep on the floor because she's a woman. And I say like, what? So what? She's a woman, so don't be sexist. What difference does it make that she's a woman?
Right.
Yeah, that's one of them.
There's one that I like that they're in the desert and Jamie wants to get to the campsite to start cooking the San Pedro. He's obsessed with this drug, right? And Crystal Fairy wants to take a pee again. She's peeing constantly. And so she's like, can we please stop the car? And they stop the car and Jamie's like honking, come on guys, hurry up. And she finds a little chamomile. And she's like, hey Jamie, look, smell it, it's chamomile. And he's like, yeah, bring it. I like that. Like you would say to someone like bring that, whatever that shit is, bring it with you.
Yeah,
it's fine.
And Gabby in the car when she's saying she needs to pee, like she can't wait anymore. She says, there's literally pee coming out of my vagina. That's a good line, I think.
I enjoyed that line, I gotta say. Now, you have, Michael, you've worked on big budget movies, small budget movies. What is the joy for you of working on something where you have more control, or where you don't necessarily know exactly what you're gonna say right away? As an actor, where do you get the joy?
Well, I mean, it's just fun. It's fun. It's fun to do scenes that way with other actors where you're playing off each other and you're really finding it and listening to each other, and it's just a huge difference. And also, we would do long takes. Like he would just let the camera run, and then you can really like go somewhere with the scene. Create this vibe, and that you can't really do with movies where you're just doing shot after shot. And but other than that, the main difference is just like the kind of food that you get to eat when you're on set. When there's a budget, you get like fun-sized chocolate bars, and on this we had like an avocado between 14 people and like a roll of bread. That's the main difference.
Well, Sebastian, what's it like to direct yourself as an actor and director?
Oh, I'm in the movie really, really briefly. I haven't really gone through that experience yet. It didn't feel like it. I'm only in one scene at the beginning, and that was it. But I can't wait to see it. I'm planning on making this movie this summer in Brooklyn. It's called Nasty Baby, and I'm starring in it. So I'm the nasty baby, actually. I don't know yet. We'll find out.
Right. Well, why don't we open up the questions to the audience, see if they have anything better than I do.
I have a question for you, Michael. So what is it like to be constantly compared to Jesse Eisenberg or being confused with him? Just wondering. I mean, you guys are great actors. I love you guys.
Let me think of how to describe that. I don't know. It's just a lot of confusion. People get really confused. Not long ago, like a few nights ago, when we were in Frank's, remember, we were like at a bar, and a woman said to me, like, the guy from Facebook, right? I was like, no, I'm an actor, but I'm not that one. I was like, I was being totally honest with her, like, that's not me, but maybe you just recognized me from something. She goes, all right, I get it. And then, like, as we were leaving the place, like, a half hour later, she's like, I know you're being low-key, but I know you're from Facebook. Okay. And I was like, okay.
I wish we could pull, like, a Jesse Eisenberg picture there and, like, compare features.
I think it's, just some people don't get too specific with faces. Just, it's kind of like, okay, yeah, you're from a movie and you're kind of this type of
short hair
guy, yeah.
Maybe they thought you were Mark Zuckerberg. Maybe she literally thought you were the guy from Facebook, the actual Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah. I hadn't thought of that, yeah.
I have a quick question for Sebastian. So how did you find Michael Cera? Like, did you have him in mind when you
He was looking for Jesse Eisenberg.
Okay, cute.
Yeah.
I found him on Grindr. And he found me on Grindr. No, he watched The Maid. This is a movie I made in 2009, and he really liked it. And he reached out to my manager, and we met in LA, and we clicked immediately. And we collaborated together in this HBO web series. And then after that, we became just like really close friends and started collaborating different stuff. You know?
Now, you sought out Sebastian after you saw The Maid as well, right? Yeah. Now, how did you? What about that movie got to you?
I love that movie. I think anyone who hasn't seen it should see it. The Maid. It's amazing, and and it just took me by surprise because I hadn't even planned on seeing a movie the day I saw it. It just was like it was miserable weather, and I just went into a theater with my girlfriend to like get out of the rain, you know, and I loved the movie and just thought he had an amazing sensibility, and just I love the kind of stories that he tells, you know, and. Yeah, the movie, I remember watching the movie and feeling like there were so many moments where I was kind of like feeling like I was ahead of the movie. Like I knew where it was going. Oh, it's going to do this now. It's going to be really, you know, predictable. And it never did those things. It never fell into any kind of movie trope. It always took a different turn and like went closer to something authentic. And that was really, I thought, really special. So I just wanted to meet him.
Hi. How's it like coming back to Arrested Development after taking such a hiatus from it? And has there been significant differences from Netflix promoting it? And is the production different on that end versus it being on cable TV?
She's a pro.
I guess it's kind of hard for me to say, you know, because when we were doing the show, I was just like a hired actor, and I really was never too involved with, or you know, in tune with what it was like dealing with the network or anything. But it's so different this time around, just that people are aware of the show, and it's like, you know, it's being made for a fan base that already exists, and that was never what the experience was like before. We were always struggling to just keep our heads above the water, and that was a big difference. And it was really fun. It was fun to work with all those people again. It was, you know.
Let me just say that is a really professional question.
Where do you work?
For you.
Oh.
That was impressive.
Hi. Oh, that's loud. I really enjoyed Gregory Goes Boom. I thought it was fantastic. So I was wondering if you're going to do more stuff like that, more serious roles, and if so, is it going to be in the shorter kind of YouTube format?
I really don't know. I don't know, but I'd like to. I liked doing that. And
Gregory Goes. It's a short
film.
They don't know.
It's a short film, yes. Gregory Goes Boom is a short film that I'm in, that a friend of mine, two friends of mine wrote, and one of them directed, and you know that, but I'm just. And I would like to do more stuff like that. It's really fun. I mean, you know, it's nice if you like have a weekend to go off with your friends and make something, and someone's paying for that. It's great, you know. And we were totally free to do whatever we wanted. So I'd like to do more of that kind of thing.
Hi. I had a question regarding, in terms of living, like, I don't know, between New York and LA, professionally, what do you think is better for your career? Like, what do you prefer more and where to get inspired?
You mean like, how do you mean? You mean for yourself or for me?
No, for you.
For me?
Yeah, in terms of your professional career.
In terms of my career. Oh, I don't know. I mean, I've lived in LA for a long time, and I don't think my daily life there really has any bearing on my career. I just see friends and stuff, you know. I can't even remember the last time I worked in LA. So it's... But I think most people feel like it's better to be out there if you're trying to be a working actor, because everyone's there and you can have meetings and, you know. But I think most movies and stuff now are shooting like all over the place. Nobody shoots in LA anymore because like the tax rebate, you know. It's much cheaper to go to Michigan or something, or Louisiana.
You making note of that?
It's kind of a professional answer, right?
That was very good. Yeah.
Yeah, but when she asks a professional
impressive,
question, you're like...
She's way more professional than I am. I'm taking notes myself. That's something I should ask.
Hi, Michael Cera. I actually brought you a present from across the street at Kid Robot, which this guy will give to you later.
That's great.
You're
Thanks.
great. I'm so excited to be here. My question is...
Can I have it? Can I have it now?
Yeah. They're blind boxes, so have fun.
Thank you. Wow.
You're welcome.
How nice.
How many cameras were used in the film?
You're like ignoring her completely.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I handpicked them.
How many cameras were used
Wow.
in the film? And
Is there
were-
ricin in this?
Look at her.
Sorry. Okay. Excuse me. I'm sorry. How rude of me.
How many cameras were used in the film, and were the shots planned out, or did they follow the actor's lead as far as where the actors staged themselves within the scene? Because it looked interesting in the shots. It looked like they were kind of following around and interesting.
Didn't hear the second part, but it was only one. It was only one camera. It's the Red Epic. I don't know if you guys familiar with that camera. It's a small version of the Red One. I think that's the name of the first one. And it's a tiny camera. We'd use like these beautiful wide lenses, and that's all I know about. I'm so bad at it, but it's the Red Epic. And then, do you have other part of the question?
Yeah, were the shots all planned out? Or I know that the dialogue was a little bit more free. Was the camera work free as well, where they followed the actors?
Yeah, absolutely. No shots were planned. No shots were planned just because, yeah, as you're saying, it was kind of improvised. So actors and directions were following the lead. They were leading whatever the camera did. But we worked with a very talented DP. I did camera myself. And one thing we did that it was a great technique for anybody who makes films here, it was that we never turned the camera off, ever. Like, we would do takes of 45 minutes and do wides and then just walk with the camera turned on. Because whenever you say cut, everybody's checking their grinder and stuff. You know? That's what happens. So if you don't say cut, people keep their phones in their pockets and they work and they are attentive, you know? So that's what we did. We had such a short period of time, and it's digital, so you're not wasting anything.
Beyond the grinder point, she does bring up a cool point that you can make movies with these small little cameras. And I know, Michael, you said you did, web stuff, and you continue to do web stuff. So it's cool that really anyone could probably get a camera here and go make a movie. What do you recommend for people who want to just kind of go out and do it?
I think you should talk to any of our team here. They can help you out with that. They're really incredible here at the Apple Store.
They are.
No, I don't know what to recommend. I feel that, the Red Epic works well, but it's not a cheap camera. There's a lot of Panasonics that I would make movies with now that are from the 90s. I think nowadays, for me, the Alexa, which is the big digital camera, old movies are looking so similar, just extremely crisp, and you can see all of black heads. It's disgusting. And not to see them, they cover Sandra Bullock with stuff, or Katie Holmes or some, but it's crazy how
I knew Sandy and Katie weren't gonna walk away unscathed.
No, hey, well,
Get
chill.
Sebastian Silva on a stage.
No, but I'm serious. I feel that it's good to look for different textures. If you're gonna go digital, I think there's so many variety of cameras from the 90s and the early 2000s that you can decide what texture you want, Yeah.
Thank you. How did you prepare for your role in this film, and how does that compare to your actual personality?
There wasn't a whole lot of preparing. We were basically, Sebastian pitched me the idea, and basically 2 weeks later we were shooting. But we hung out in Santiago all together, the whole group, just talking about the movie and kind of talking about what we thought it was and who our people were. And I did do a bunch of research on Erowid.com, which is a drug, message board thing where people write about their experiences, just so I would have all this vocabulary of drug stuff, because my guy is really annoying in how academic he is about drugs, just using the official, scientific terms and all that. So, that was the question, right? I think. Where am I?
And hi, Michael. This is a question for you as well. I'm curious, what is the role that you think has been the most enjoyable for you over the course of your entire career?
To play? I really had fun. We did this other movie, Magic Magic, and I had a lot of fun doing that part. It's just so fun. Every scene in that movie is really just got so many fun dynamics in it, and I got to do a lot of fun stuff in it, and be a really strange person, and that was great. I loved that.
The name of that character is Brink, and Michael has the weirdest haircut ever.
Yeah.
Right? It's like,
And wardrobe.
yeah, and wardrobe. He always looks like he's coming out of an anus. It's like,
A lot of anus
Really?
sweater necks. Yeah.
yeah, it's like
You know these anus cuts you can get?
it's like those very thick sweaters that are like, with like an anus. And he's playing a closeted homosexual
a specific
kid.
kind of anus. You know.
Which kind?
Not just any anus. Kind of a puffy,
Hemorrhoidal.
yeah,
Not necessarily.
slightly irritated.
Okay, stop that.
On that note,
Enough
But yeah,
anus
check it
talk.
out, guys. Magic Magic is coming out on the 6th of August.
And when does this movie come out?
This one comes out this Friday at IFC Center. Yeah, recommend it. Oh, you haven't seen it. Recommend us.
We recommend it to you.
You do the same.
Well, why don't you give us last question, your 10-second pitch. Why should they see the movie and bring all their friends? What should they tell their friends?
I mean, it's a very uplifting, fun movie that talks about the importance of compassion and friendship in a very slight, funny way with a great actor, great actors, and a very handsome director. That's why you guys should watch it.
I think we're
because
sold.
We're telling you so. No, it's really a fun movie. Yeah, it's a fun movie.
No, I've seen it twice and I agree. So thank you guys for coming out.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.